Hey guys, welcome back to Easeldoesitstudio. So today is a video you guys have all been waiting for. I had somebody email me that said they unsubscribed to my channel because I still hadn't made this video. So I apologize, but you know, I do have a life outside of YouTube. I have got, you know, my second grandchild is graduating high school. My son who lives with me just had major surgery. I'm rearranging rooms because my granddaughter moved out and I'm moving my son up to her room. And it's just been frigging crazy. I mean, crazy. And I'm still trying to come up with content for you guys. Plus, you know, I have all the companies who send me free stuff to review for them and put out content. So I try to make sure they're a priority. And sometimes I forget that I said I would do a certain video. So because she reached out, it was a few days ago and I'm just now getting around to doing it. So I'm going to show you what I have done. So she wanted to know how I made my plugs for my turtle lights, these things. And, you know, I put them in here and then I pour my resin and it leaves the hole for the solar light to go in. So I'm going to show you how I make these. It ain't nothing special. I am no mold maker. I just try to figure it out and go from there. So the first thing you do is you take your plastic piece off. This one is a little bit different than my original. As you can see, this one's more tapered than this one. But this is the light I have down here, so this is the one we're going to make today. So I just use these are clear plastic pieces that come between my painting canvases. So I'm going to put this on here, and I know right about here is where I need to cut my piece. And I am just gonna hack a little section off. Nothing spectacular. So I have this little piece of plastic. So what I do is I wrap this around my light. Like that. And I make sure that it's as close to the top as I can get it. And I make sure that it's tight all the way around. And then I take a piece of tape and all right. So I'm just gonna make sure that is nice and tight. And I am just gonna tape that around. So you can see that this bottom is not level because it's tapered, right? All right, let me move this out of the way. So I slide this off. So this is my tube. This is the start of my, and then these are just plastic Easter eggs. And you just toss this one because we don't use it. We use this one. So I'm going to take another little piece of tape. And I'm going to put it over the holes because I don't want my silicone oozing out. So we're just going to squish that down. So basically, all you really want is those holes on the bottom to be sealed. That the silicone cannot escape this little piece. And I'm going to put the fatter end into this piece right here. So, let me... Oh, hang on here. I got to get my glue gun. All right, so I got my glue gun. Let me plug this in. And I'm not going to worry about this top piece. The only thing that I need to make sure that I do is I'm going to line it up so that it's flush to the bottom. And right about where that tape is, let me grab a marker here, if I can find one. And right here, that's as high as I really need my silicone to be. Nothing at all spectacular. So that is going to go into here. I'm going to hot glue around this into here. And then I'm going to make up the silicone and I'm going to pour it to about there. And then we're going to wait for 4 hours. Then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to stick it in here and I'm going to mix up 3 ounces of resin and we're going to put it in there. You just have to get creative, people, when you're trying to come up with how to do something. You've got to look at your shape, what you have, and like there's a line in here. So what I'm going to probably do is take another piece of tape and I'm going to try to fold this and stick it in there. Now it's stuck before I could get it where I needed it. Not a problem. Take your scissors and just cut that excess off. And that's just going to prevent the silicone from being able to escape that little tiny seal that's in there. So I'm going to do it again. I'll break a little piece of tape. This one's a little bit bigger. I'm going to fold it in half, sticky side down. Try and get it in the hole. And put that over that. And we're just going to cut that excess off. So now we have the outside sealed and we have that inside sealed. So hopefully none of the silicone is going to come out. So as you can see, that, you know, fits down over there. Because when it's taped, you want the taped side to be towards the top. Because you want your light base to be able to fit in. So it's going to go like this. And we're starting to ooze. So I'm just going to start putting the hot glue around this outside edge. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get a good amount on there. And then we are going to stick that in that hole. just like that. See? Just try to get it, you know, as somewhat as straight as you can. And if you want, you can kind of like try to put a little bit of the hot glue around the outside. I love you, Pumpkin. My granddaughter's been here visiting, so she picked up the last of her stuff. All right. So we're just going to get that in there like that. All right, I'm gonna unplug my gun. We're gonna move that over to the side. All right. So while that's cooling, now we can mix up some of our silicone. So what I use for these particular plugs is the Nic Pro silicone rubber, and it's the 20A. So for these ones, I like my silicone to be a little bit firmer than the 0A. You know, so you have that hard substance. So and this is by weight. Guys, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to get my scale, but I have done it without weighing it, and it still works. So I'm going to take my part A, and I'm going to tear it. And I literally like only need an ounce, maybe. So and I just lost my cover. That's all right. All right, let's tear it. We're at 0. So I'm gonna, why do you keep moving? Thank you. So, all right, I'm gonna do about 74, 75, right in there. All right, let me get my cover. All right, and so I'm gonna clear this out, and we're gonna do 74 of part B. Well, as close to 74 as we can get. There we go. All right. So we are at 74. And we can move our scale. And we're going to take our stick, and we are going to stir these two together. And this stuff debubbles on its own really, really good. You can run it through your debubbler. I never have, and I've never had any issues. But it's, you know, it's personal preference. All right, I'm trying to keep my thing clean because I just cleaned my desk here, and I got my curing table organized and cleaned, and oh my goodness. All right. Now I'm trying to think that, like, what do I have that I could, like, recast real quick? Let's see. grabbed a few little trinket things. That one would work, and maybe that one would work. All right. Just in case I have extra. All right, so now we're gonna take our little concoction that we made, and this is just sitting in a medicine cup so that I can kind of try to keep it as straight as possible. And I have my little line, so I know that I have to pour up to there. So we are just going to and it technically doesn't have to go all the way, but I think we're going to have just enough. All right, so I pulled out the extra molds for nothing, but because already my plugs are taller, you know, than my base. So basically what you're looking for when you're doing this is that is going to go through here onto this side, right? So it doesn't need to go all the way to the top. You just want it enough that it can stick out beyond what you're making. That is perfect. All right, so I don't need any of this. We'll set that aside. Now, we're going to wait 3 to 4 hours. Once this is cured, I will come back. I'm going to mix up 3 ounces. These frogs normally take 4 ounces. This plug displaces 1 ounce. So, when we come back, I'll mix up 1 ounces. We're going to pour this. We're going to put this into here. I'll show you how I dismold it. We're going to put this in here, and we will make another frog. And I pulled out 2 only because I still need to form my pool. So I'm just going to mix up 6 ounces, and we'll get both of them poured at one time. So yeah, that is part 1 of making my frog solar plugs. So stay tuned for the next part, guys. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, guys, so I had some leakage. I obviously didn't tape my thing good enough, but we will see when I take this out if it's going to work or not. All right. Just got to get underneath there too. This is the first one that I've had leak like that. Got silicone everywhere. All right, let's see. There we go. And I think what happened is I didn't take time to let the hot glue set up good enough, I think is the problem. But, you know, there's a lesson to be learned there. Trying to do too many things today. I had a bunch of orders that needed to go out. All right, so now I really don't really care about this little excess right here, because this is basically just going in here to prevent the silicone from going underneath. That's all this is doing. All right, so let me clean this up. And so the only difference between the first one that I made and this one is the light that I used for this one is a little bit bigger than this one. So, and it's a little bit taller, but it doesn't matter because it only needs to come over the turtle. So that doesn't, you know, matter at all. All right, and I just sprayed this one because if I'm gonna mix up 3 ounces of resin, I might as well just mix up 6 ounces, right? Because this is going to be a different size than what I have in my pool. So I will make this because I can put that on the little plant, you know, this thing, and, you know, stick that in the ground. So I'm still going to make this. Now, normally I would wait 24 hours, but I haven't had a problem with doing these right when I take them out. Because it's not like I'm like making a piece. You know, these are just basically blocks. Resin blocks is basically all they are. And then I'm going to pour the resin around it, and that's it. So let me go get some resin mixed up, and I will be right back. I'm going to mix them up, and we'll get them poured. So I'll be right back, guys. Alrighty, guys. I've got my resin all mixed. I mixed the 6 ounces, and I pulled out 2 glitters because I found that the ones that have the glitter in them look so much brighter. So that is what I have done. All right. And I got my baby wipe. I was thinking wet wipe. I'm like, I know that's not what it's called. Because those are kind of what you get like at KFC, right? Yeah. And I did charge my charger today, and it still had 3 bars, so it would have gone for a while. But I just figured I would share that with you guys. So that's the first time I've charged it since I had it. So it does come pretty full on the charge. So I'm going to pour 3 ounces. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. 3 and 3. All right. So I've just pulled out these 2. I have no idea what the names of these are. There's no labels, but I got them on Amazon. I put in holographic glitter, and that's kind of what I got. So, and we are going to use the glue method. So, and sorry for the noise. My husband is finishing up. We're finishing up making ice for today. So I'm going to put a good amount in there. because then when the sun sparkles, it's gonna really reflect off of this glitter, is what I've found. All right, let's just grab another stick and get this one poured. I even managed to get some of my craft room picked up today. I got my curing station reset up, and all right, so I think that's gonna be good. They don't need to be like full of glitter, but enough. So I'm gonna put 3 drops because there's 3 ounces. It's what, 1, 2, it's usually 1 drop per ounce. 1, 2, 3. So we'll mix that in. We'll see how thick it is, and then it's just so it doesn't all sink to the bottom, and then we have clear, you know, sink to the front, and then we have clear on the bottom. So look at how goopy. That one is good. And this is the Bond Craftor 1-to-1. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Alrighty. So, the hardest part about this is not knocking them once you pour your resin. Like, I did not put eyes in these ones. I'm just thinking about the eyes now, so I'm just gonna I'm not going to bother to put the eyes in these ones. I can always do it later. All right, so I'm going to hold this down, and I'm just going to start pouring. Okay. Now you let go, and it did float a little bit, and that's fine because we're going to clean up the glitter after, once we demold this. Oh, he must be making another bag. Oop. And I don't think I'm gonna have enough. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Oh, maybe I didn't split them as even as I thought. Oh, that's fine. All right, we'll get this one poured. And if I have a little extra of this, I will just dump it in there, make his feet a different color. And if not, I'll mix up like another ½ an ounce or something. All right, so I'm gonna hold this, and we're gonna pour. Oh, and you know why? Because that plug is a little bit smaller than this plug. That's why. I didn't even give that a thought. The diameter around is smaller, so obviously more resin is gonna fit in there. So basically you just want to get it so it stays without moving. Of course, I picked the one that's more rounded. There's one of these plugs that I made that doesn't stand the greatest. And I think it's this one. Plus, it's every time you add resin, it makes it move. So I'm just going to get it filled. And because it's so thick, it doesn't flow quite as easy as when it's just plain resin. So you just got to help it a little bit. All right. So I am going to give this other stay right there. So I think this will be cute. And this one's just gonna have different colored tattoos, that's all. I really didn't want to have to mix up another literally half an ounce. It's late, I'm getting tired. I said I've had a busy, busy day. No, stay. So with these, it doesn't matter if they, you know, if the resin goes underneath, because it does still stay pretty thin underneath there. So I'm just trying to make sure that they have enough so that when I demold them, their toes are full. So yeah, I must have missed when I divided them up. I probably divided them up wrong, because I know it takes 3 ounces each. And I see a bubble in that one right there. Now, I might have some micro bubbles underneath the chin because I didn't get underneath there good, but all right, what do I have left here? Let me see. Yeah, well, maybe. I know it's not enough, but I can always fill it late on my next video. Because I've been trying to like get all my smaller molds together so that when I need to do extras, I will have them like handy. I'm just gonna, all right, and I won't demold that. I'll demold it on the next video. I'll just add to it when I do my next project. All right, I don't think I can squeeze any more out of there. All right. So once you know that they're no longer moving, just leave them. And they will stay like that. And then I try to use a thicker resin when I'm doing these for that particular reason, because I know that resin is going to sit up quicker. You know, it's going to get thicker, so they're not going to move. But once they stop moving like they are now, just leave them. And you will be good. I will give them a spray. You don't want to spray alcohol first because it's going to get on your mold and it's going to make your mold slippery and you're not going to be able to get your plugs to stay up. Ask me how I know that. Yeah. All right. And that is it. And I will be back and we'll demold these and I will get them put together and show you how it's done. All righty, guys. Bye. Good morning, guys. So, our little turtles, frogs. I know I said turtle earlier too. I watched my video back and I'm like, are you kidding me? So, let's go ahead and get these demolded. And I think I'm going to have to get some new frog molds because I've made so many of these. We'll see if they're still shiny. God, the sun is finally out today, guys. It has been so dreary. Oh, my word. May has been miserable in Maine. But June is looking better, so hopefully I'll get in my pool this month because I sure didn't last month. We got a couple little bubbles. So that is what happens when your plug moves, which is fine because that's still thin enough that we can cut that. So then we're just going to pull our little silicone plug out. And I did bring down the other light so that I can show you the difference. So see how that is like really thin? I'm just going to take my little snippers and find a spot that has like a hole. And then I'm just going to start trimming around this little spot where the plug was. Oh, let me bring you in so you can see what I'm doing. So if I can't make this hole big enough to put my light for the pool in it, I will just use the stake and put it by my little gnome door setup. All right, so there is our, I gotta go bigger. So you want to definitely do this before this piece completely hardens, because it'll make your life a lot easier. So I just slowly work my way around. So you can see down in here, let me see if I can, you can see like right in here with that extra all the way around, that is what I have to cut out. So sometimes you can like flip it over so you can actually see what needs to get cut out. It depends on the type of snippers that you're using. Like this pair here is kind of curved a little bit, has a little bit of a, arc to it. All right, so now I will just try to get this and I do have my Dremel out if I need to, because I always smooth the insides. And you want it to stay snug, so that's perfect. So it will have to go down a little bit more. Which is right in here is what's stopping it. All right, let me see if I can Dremel it. All right. And I just have a sanding tip on. It's not the buffer, it does have a little bit of sanding to it. And I was holding my breath, guys, because I don't have a mask on, but So then I'll just take this and run it through the sink. There we go. And now we have our little light and our little frog. So yeah, it is that easy. You know, so then when you put your little stake on it, you could put it in your walkway or whatever. So, this is the difference in the size. These were a kit that I had got, and they come with bands that go around. So they might actually be the same size. They just look different. No. So I would have to make this one bigger, which, you know, is not a big deal. But yeah, that's how I do it. So I will, let's get this one out. And I have found that the ones with the glitter show up the brightest at night with the lights when they come on. So I was like, what is green in there? I forgot it's my plug. All right, so then we just pop this little guy out. Now, see how that one's definitely was much thinner. So the least amount of time that your plug moves around, the better off you are. Because then you have a much thinner opening for your light to go in. So I am going to try this with my new turtle mold. And then, you know, I could have a couple of turtles and a couple of, you know, the frogs. But I figured even if I put one or two of the turtles around the pool, I think that would be cute as well. Okay. And you got to be careful because if you make them too big, your light will fall through and then you're going to have to glue it. I did that on one of my frogs. So I had to actually glue it because the light just kept falling way down more than I wanted it to. And the more you know, the more you do of these, the easier they become. Yeah, so now we have our other one. And I'll just sand him up. Oh, gosh. So that's the difference between, you know, the plug moving a lot and not. Oops. And then that's how I do the back side too. I just kind of go around and make sure that I have no sharp spots. And now we have it. Unfinished froggy. All we'll have to do is run them through some water and put our little light on. And now we have our other little froggy ready to go in our pool. So yeah. And I will have to glue this one because I did make it a little too big. So I will just use some 5-minute epoxy. This is how I like them to go, nice and stiff like that. That's how I like them to fit. But yeah. So that is the process of how I make my solar frogs to go around my pool or my walkways. Alrighty, guys. I hope this helped you guys. And, you know, if I say I'm going to make something and I don't get to it, just shoot me a message or an email and say, hey, I was just wondering if you're still going to do that, because sometimes I forget. Or I'll think of it and then I'll be like, okay, well, I'll do that. And then I completely forget again. So I didn't do it to intentionally not do it, but yeah. Because, you know, I know you guys wanted to see how the process was, so that is how it is. So I will get this sanded, and I will see you guys all on the next video. Bye, guys.